Okay, we're gonna get started. So, hello everybody, welcome. Thank you for coming to the 18th annual induction ceremony for Epsilon Pi Tau. Our honor society has been around for quite a long time. Myself, Sister Lisa, have been part of this organization for, I'm over 10 years at this point. She started the organization, so. When it comes down to it, you guys are joining a lot of alumni that have done great things over the years, and I have 3 of them up here with me. So Cheryl Ann Watkins, she graduated last year. We have Hafsa Abdul Malik, and she graduated in 22. And then we have Elijah Moore, who also graduated last year. So I want to thank them for coming and helping me with the ceremony and helping me induct you guys into the ceremony. To be very honest, our ceremony is kind of long and kind of a little odd compared to what you might be used to. When I tell you guys to stand, please stand, okay, things like that. There's gonna be some repeating after me, and for my seniors that are getting honor cords, I will officially give you your cord. Kind of a big deal for me, a little bit, okay? When it comes down to it, there are 7 of you that we are inducting this year, and we have 5 that are graduating. So I'm gonna get started. Sister Lisa, do you want to kick it off?
Honorable Basilus, some students seek admittance into Epsilon Pi Tau.
Who seeks to be admitted? All of you stand up, the newbies. Okay, not Alejandro and Jose, you can sit down. Okay.
Apprentices who, having studied, served, and searched for new knowledge, now seek to participate in the work and ideals of this honor society.
Have their past records been thoroughly evaluated?
Their records have been thoroughly investigated and appraised.
Are they deemed worthy of membership into Epsilon Pi Tau?
They are recommended for this honor. Apprentices, if you desire to become members of this honor society, answer, I do.
I do.
Honorable Basilus, these apprentices desire to be admitted.
Have you ascertained the worthiness of these apprentices?
All preliminaries leading to the admittance of the apprentices have been satisfactorily completed. I present you the following apprentices: Derek Davis, Mbali Dubai, Breezy Howard, Rivaldo Miftaraj, Xavier Oliveras, Lucas Santone, and Faith Williams.
The report will suffice. I know of no reason why the apprentices should not be advanced into Epsilon Pi Tau. They will now be given further instruction from Sister Lisa, who is also historiographics. So give heed to historiographists who will unfold for you the record of Epsilon Pi Tau.
You may be seated. Friends, it is my pleasure as historian to reveal to you the story of the development of Epsilon Pi Tau. Since the dawn of civilization, people of like minds and kindred purposes have banded together for the advancement of their common welfare and the more complete integration of the social structure. Noble minds have brought forth noble professional organizations and have fostered ideals to fruition, and have spurred into action those retiring souls whom the world might have suffered to pass unheard and unsung. These bonds among kindred minds have vanquished the tyrant, enlightened the masses, elevated right above might, disposed the demagogue, and imparted to each individual the wisdom that formerly abided only in the favored few. In no less lofty ideals was Epsilon Pi Tau Honorary conceived and born. Early in the year 1928, a small group of scholars gathered periodically about a seminar table at The Ohio State University. Visioning a need for an organization of mutually interested minds, they began to study the feasibility of a Greek letter honorary for the academic fields and professional practice areas we now associate with technology. The seed thus sown germinated into a tentative organization that undertook to prepare a statement of ideals and to recommend ways and means by which these ideals might be fostered and perpetuated. Many and vigorous were the discussions before an agreement was reached. The tangible results of these deliberations may be seen in the dynamic history of this honor society. While more than 3 generations have passed since this committee reflected so profoundly, these ideals apply even to new professional fields emerging, and existing fields are reconceived. The ideals are also appropriate to new and emerging professions that continue to evolve in every area of expertise and service sectors of society in response to technological developments. The ideals of this honorary will assuredly endure. Listen well, apprentices, as the ideals are disclosed to you. The first of these is to esteem the function of technological capability and skill as it applies in the professions in technology. The second is to promote social and professional proficiency, not only in the more restricted context of the individual with others, but also in the broader relationships of our professions in the whole of society. The third is to foster and reward research and to respect, value, and use the products of scholarly endeavor. These ideals, with all that they mean, have been bequeathed to you by the founders of Epsilon Pi Tau. Apprentices, we believe that these ideals will attract and inspire any person who is to contribute to the leadership of our programs. They may be summed up in 3 cardinal concepts. First, the capability to appreciate the role and implications of technology and to use its products judiciously and skillfully. Second, a disposition and ability to achieve professional ideals. And third, a desire and capacity to engage in or benefit from the search of truth. These 3 concepts are expressed by the Greek words technike, pragmatia, and exegesis. They constitute the philosophy of Epsilon Pi Tau. And now, my friends, as historian, I challenge you to develop and make the most of your capacities through the years, and to be ever mindful of the philosophy just enfolded in the ideals of Epsilon Pi Tau. Through them, it is your opportunity to go far.
Historiographus has revealed, in part, the history of our honor society. Now listen to the lesson of our first counselor, Technike.
Before I stand here, come in.
Behold Technike, it represents the ideal of technological capability and skill, and the use of technology to utilize resources for the extension of human potential. Okay. Soon after humans inhabited the earth, technological capability and skill were born. When the first stone was used as a tool, Technike began to develop. The molding of bronze and iron to our will was a significant advancement for Technike. Today, Technike is manifest in systems and processes related to information, organizations, and materials. Through its magic, life is improved and extended, and we undertake the challenges presented by new frontiers that evolve out of existing fields, such as wireless communication, nanotechnology, biomedicine, and space. The achievements of Technike are many, and no person has yet foreseen their end. I counsel you to cultivate Technike with diligence.
Wait.
Listen to pragmatia, to social and professional proficiency. Though Technike has enabled us to creatively use the resources of nature, pragmatia was also needed if the desire for growth and service was to be realized. When we have learned the lesson of pragmate, we are able to live in the peace and to assume an effective place in our society. When we take pragmate to heart, we are strengthened with the invulnerable defense against defeat and the frustration of our idols. Only then we are able in truly great measure to reap the rewards of our skill. But pragmate is not lightly won. To achieve it, we must know and respect others and must subordinate self in showing concentration for them. Remember that you profit most when you further the interests of your profession and contribute to the advancements of society. Stern, unremitting effort is required to hold oneself in check and think of professional and social needs first. Yet if you would learn by trial and error, by observation and practice, by taking thought and seeking truth of how you may become an effective member of this honorary. And the other groups, remember always that if you would succeed, you must achieve pragmate.
Apprentices, since you have learned that for success you must unite pragmate and technique, even so with this golden pin, I join the emblems of the two counselors who have spoken. Behold, apprentices, the added extent and power of the two bars. With two precepts, we can progress further than just with one. Yet there is something missing that would ensure completeness and stability in our symbolism of these principles of life. Listen, therefore, to our third counselor, Extasis.
This is the golden bar of extasis, or research and its uses. It is emblematic of the search for truth and represents the chief instrument of progress, not only for our honorary, but also for the whole human race. Long after we had achieved the molding of nature to our desire, through the exercise of technological capability and skill, or technique, long after we had learned to live in a society through the practice of social and professional proficiency, or pragmatia, we learned the power of extasis. To what ends do people toil? For what purposes do they participate in social groups? The best means of achieving those ends, of fulfilling those purposes, is through extasis, or research. To those who come with open minds and seek by objective methods, extasis slowly but surely reveals the precious gains of truth that led the way from darkness to light. Less and less shall the will of the tyrant or the glittering generalities of the demagogue direct our destinies. The seeker, the thinker, is more and more the one who leads. I counsel you to make extasis your constant companion. Strive diligently to be objective, to suspend judgment until all facts are known, and to support assertions with data and factual information. This wins admiration of colleagues and contributes mightily to successful leadership. Master the ways of research and use them honestly, for through extasis comes the truth.
Apprentices, even as was linked technique and pragmatia, with these golden pins I'll now link extasis to technique and pragmatia. You will now observe the stability that is the result of the interlocking of technical capability and skill, social and professional proficiency, and research. Nothing can shake the strength of these three. They mutually reinforce one another. Moreover, that which was without significant form is now imbued in the attributes of this triangle. That you may better understand the significance of this symbol, give heed, apprentices, to historiographists, as the history of Trinity in the development of humanity is unfolded for you.
The concept of three, or triunity, was a potent factor in the early history of humanity. but the origin of the triangle is shrouded in the mists of dim antiquity. The properties of the triangle must have been known about 3700 BC, for the first king of the 4th dynasty of Egypt used it in designing and constructing the Great Pyramid. The triangle ranks as the most important figure. It is the simplest that can be drawn with straight lines. Without knowledge of the properties of the triangle, the science of geometry would have been impossible. At one time, the equilateral triangle was considered a sacred symbol. It was common in the Phoenician, Egyptian, Greek, and other ancient languages. Whenever an oath of importance was taken in the days of Pythagoras, it was administered on the equilateral triangle. Our honorary has chosen to reflect the constructive and stable qualities of this ancient symbol as emblematic of the ideals of Epsilon Pi Tau as presented to you by the 3 counselors, Technicae, Pragmatia, and Exostasis.
And so, if you would develop your potentials to the utmost, you must cultivate and maintain in you Technicae, Pragmatia, and Exotasis. This honorary society will assist you in the process of your personal and professional development. Its members have chosen to admit you to their numbers because of their belief in your ability to grow. Do not disappoint them, but put forth your best efforts to strive and succeed. The opportunity is yours, and now one ceremony remains. Will all members and apprentices please stand? All right, you 3 can stand too, you're members. All right, you're going to repeat after me the obligation of Epsilon Pi Tau. It will not conflict with your God, your country, or other people. Say I and pronounce your full name. I, Andrea Wenzel, on my honor,
On my honor,
do promise,
do promise,
in the presence of the members of this honorary,
in the presence of the members of this honor,
to respect and uphold
to respect and uphold
the ideals of Epsilon Pi Tau.
the ideals of Epsilon Pi Tau.
I agree to abide by the laws,
I agree to abide by the laws,
rules,
rules,
decrees,
decrees,
and actions of the honorary.
and actions of honorary.
I pledge to endeavor to be perfect myself
I pledge to endeavor to perfect myself
in Technicae,
in Technicae,
in Pragmatia,
in Pragmatia,
and Exotasis,
in Exotasis,
to honor and respect these 3,
to honor and respect these 3,
in works and efforts of others,
in works and efforts of others,
whether members of the honorary or not.
governments of member or not.
To all this,
To all this,
I pledge my word.
I pledge my word.
You can be seated. Okay. The honorary is governed by the code, which includes the Constitution and bylaws and operating procedures for the chapters and provides guidelines for the board of directors, executive director, and chapter trustees. Regional directors nominated by the trustees and co-trustees are respected within the region and elected by the members in the region, forming boards which appoint the executive director. In fulfilling its purpose of advancing the professions in technology, Epsilon Pi Tau supports several professional associations and encourages the expression and sharing of various interests and views. You are encouraged to view the Epsilon Pi Tau website, which they did recently redo last year, and that provides a significant number of services and member information. Also provides a forum and communication devices for its members. It also has a job board too. And now I want to close this ceremony with the admonition that whenever you find yourself in a locality where a member is known to live, aka here, or a chapter is located, make yourself known so that you may mutually share the benefits and pleasures of association with other members of this honorary. I now declare those being inducted in full standing of the International Honor Society for Professions in Technology, Epsilon Pi Tau, with all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining. I counsel you to look well to your development so that you may become still more worthy members of this honorary. At this time, I'm going to give everyone their member certifications for the new members. I do also want to add that the official certificates are currently in the mail because the printer this year, they changed printers and they didn't mail them in time. I'm supposed to get them on Saturday, so I will give them to you on Monday. Usually this is not a problem. So I give you temporary ones for now. Okay? Derek Davis, please come up here. You're gonna shake my hand.
Wait. Look at Doc. Here you go, Doc. Y'all call it Doc. Shake my foot.
There is a smaller paper in here, guys, just so you know. Mbale Dubai.
Did I say that right? I don't know if that was going. Oh, no, it's Hey, buddy. See it, Doc? Yeah.
Breeze Howard.
You got it.
You get Doc.
You should do it.
Good. You get it. Okay.
Rivaldo Meftarja. I swear I probably butchered that.
It's on the knee.
Probably there.
This got messed up, right?
Xavier Alvarez. Did I say that right this time? No, I'm still messed up. Sorry.
It's fine. I need to call you out. Really?
Still, that's but
I'll get it sooner or later.
Lucas Santone.
Stop.
yeah, it's
Look at it. Look at it.
And because we were going alphabetically, the W's stand at last. Faith Williams.
That's it.
We're not done yet, though. I do have a couple seniors that we get to do honor cords for. There are only 3 of them here tonight, but I also do want to mention the 2 that are not with us. They will be getting their cords prior to graduation. Mike Molosky, who is on the baseball team and currently has a game, and then Chris Velasco. So, without further ado, Jose Ricardo Quadra. When I get fancy with Ricardo.
yeah. What is that? Right. Hey. Yeah.
What? Because he yells it at me every other day.
So, Rivaldo. I'm not going to try your last name again because I'll butcher it again.
Don't stop.
All right, and my last one, which one of you can you slide me one of those that are... Do I do it like the basketball guy does it? I can't do it like that, though. Alejandro Redondo Sabak.
Yeah. You feel like
He's got like 2 feet on me, guys. All right. Thank you everybody for coming. That is the that's the end of our ceremony. This feels slow to me half the time.